As they always are, the Huskers, a huge focus here at Big Ten Volleyball Media Days. But for the first time, it is Dani Busboom Kelly visiting us for the official preseason kickoff leading into the season. And it is a season that Husker fans are truly looking forward to as Busboom Kelly returns to Lincoln after having played for the Hoosiers from 2003 to 2006, won the national championship in 2006, back as an assistant from 2012 to 2016, won a natty during that time frame as well in 2015, played in 2 national championship matches as the head coach at Louisville, the AVCA National Coach of the Year in 2021, and this past January hired to replace John Cook as he's the 4th coach in program history. We are thrilled to welcome Dani Busboom Kelly to her first Big Ten Volleyball Media Days. 10 weeks after welcoming a new addition to your family, yes, as well, as if the past 7 to 8 months haven't been crazy enough for you.
Right. They always say, moving, having a kid, and changing jobs are the 3 biggest life events. Well, I did it all within a couple months, so it's been crazy, but it's been awesome.
Yeah, describe your life since being hired on January 29th. Obviously, at that time, you knew what was coming family-wise down the road, but you had all this work stuff to deal with as well.
Well, it was wild, but also it was just really exciting for my family and I to be able to have the opportunity to come back to Nebraska, and something we always were hoping we'd have the opportunity to do, but never really knew for sure, how the cards were going to play. But it's been a whirlwind, and again, just really thankful to have all the help and for it to have gone as smooth as it did.
Yeah, that being said, I think we've spoken twice, once via Zoom, once via your campus studio, right after you were hired and then during spring practice as well. In comparison to those 2 times, how much more settled do you feel in returning to a place that I know is very familiar to you?
Yeah, I feel like just, again, with each passing week, more settled. And I got to give a lot of credit to the staff, and thank goodness they stayed. And, they are just working as hard as they ever have. And I think they understand the expectations at Nebraska, but also for them being new to me, they really understood what I needed during this time, and so I was just very grateful for them and what they've done the past few months.
How is everybody at home?
Everybody's great, yes. My 10-week-old, I don't want to jinx it, but sleeping like good 8-hour stretches. So,
don't say that
I
out
feel
loud.
like I'm very blessed, and it's like God giving us what we need, especially at this time.
You told me when we spoke back in April that the only person that you could be was yourself heading into this job. How have you tried to stay true to that, as I know you face question after question about replacing a legend? Well,
I think just always being grateful for what's come before you, but understanding that the task ahead of you it's new, but it's yours. I don't have to live up to somebody that I'm not. I have to live up to expectations for myself. And number one for me is always recruiting and the team. If I can make sure that those 2 things are in line and top of my list, I feel like everything else can come later. So I don't really get worked up about the small things. So recruiting and team, I feel like we've been amazing. So now we can start to maybe focus on some other things.
You had one of the best jobs in the country at Louisville and did amazing things going to those national championship matches I talked about. I know this was a dream job, but you recruited and developed those players as well. So how hard was it to say goodbye to those players who you had spent so much of their lives with? Really tough,
and leaving a place that you've built and a place that you personally love so much, and my family loved Louisville. And I mean, those players are special people, and they came to Louisville because they believed in what we were doing and wanted to be a part of it. So saying goodbye was really hard, but also leaving that program in such a good place and being able to turn that job over to one of my closest friends who I know is going to do amazing things. It was like a peaceful departure. I think they understood what it meant for me to get back to Nebraska, and they also knew they were going to be well taken care of.
And you do inherit a very deep, very talented, very experienced roster. As someone who knows this program so well as a player and as an assistant and saw everything that goes along with Nebraska volleyball, what did impress you the most about this particular team when you saw it on the floor for the first time?
100% their cohesiveness and the strong desire to win this year. I think it's a team that's fallen short of their own expectations for 2 years in a row. So their goals are pretty strong and in your face in a good way. And then just the cohesiveness of the team. You always wonder, what teams are like on the outside, and sometimes when you're at a great place, you don't think anybody has it as good as you have it. Well, coming here, I just felt like, again, the team was already in such a good spot and willing to work, and they just want to win, and they'll do what it takes to win, and they love each other, and that's what you want to be a part of.
As a coach, how do you manage and foster expectations when you have a team that is one of maybe 2 or 3 teams in the country that is not satisfied with 30-plus wins and Final Four appearances?
Well, part of it is, I know John Cook, he does a great job recruiting and making sure the recruits understand what they're getting into. So I feel like part of that job has already been done. Like, these players understand what they're getting into. But second of all, we're not going to stray away from tough conversations or the elephant in the room. And I'm a pretty big believer in, having pretty open conversations and being vulnerable as myself as a coach. And so if I can be vulnerable in front of my team, then they can too. And usually that creates a lot of trust, and especially when tough moments are happening.
Let's talk about some of those players. Harper Murray is here as one of your player reps. It seems like she's been around forever, but it's just a couple of years. Of course, both those years were All-American caliber seasons. What makes her special as a player?
The fact that she's always wanting to improve and get better, and she's not satisfied. And a lot of times players of Harper's caliber, they might take a lull, honestly, especially between their sophomore and junior year. I feel like they've arrived, and that's been the opposite for Harper. And I think she'll be at another level, and she understands that this team needs something different from her than they've had the last 2 years.
What would that be?
Some leadership, some guidance, and I think Harper has a great ability to relate to young players, old players, coaches, administrators. So we need her to kind of be that glue between all those different areas.
We'll hear from Harper when she speaks with Holly and Elena in just a little bit. Rebekah Allick as well, who is here as your other player rep, a player that has seemed to have gotten better and more well-rounded in her game each and every year. How much more room is there for improvement, and how does she make it this season?
I think there's still room for her, especially from the offensive standpoint, and that takes a great setter. That takes a game plan to get her the ball, and I know I want to get her the ball in big moments and build her up this season so that she can swing away no matter what time of the season we're in, what point of the game it's in, that she knows that this team trusts her and that we want her to have the ball in those moments.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the setter position, because Bergen Riley returns after becoming the first player in Big Ten Conference history to be named setter of the year after both her freshman and sophomore seasons. What does she do for this team, and how has she been maybe pushed this offseason by one of the top freshmen in the country who also plays that position?
Yeah, from the outside looking in the last 2 seasons, I feel like Bergen is just really consistent and really steady, and she brings a calm demeanor, and you want your setter to have that demeanor that isn't going to rattle her teammates. But yes, Campbell Flynn is a stud, and she came in and she proved that she can run the show too. So I think that's only going to help Bergen elevate her game, and also allows us to be creative in what we're doing and how we can potentially use both Bergen and Campbell. And again, the team just needs to trust that everything we're going to do is going to set us up to be the best we can possibly be in December.
Andy Jackson is also back, and a player I think a little bit like Rebekah. You saw the athleticism right off the bat. The blocking came naturally. She's become better offensively throughout her career. She is a preseason unanimous All Big Ten selection. What do you envision her role being within this roster?
It's funny, a lot of these players' roles are going to be very similar. We need Andy to get kills, and we need her to touch more balls blocking, but we also need a little bit more leadership from her. And from what I know from this team in the past, that they lost some really amazing leaders. So who's going to step into that role? And that's where, Harper, Rebekah, Andy, Bergen, everybody we're talking about, we're going to need them to step up and get out of their comfort zone from that leadership standpoint.
You look at the roster and you go down and you see, and then Taylor Landfair, former Big Ten Player of the Year, who transferred in and was willing to take a little bit of a smaller role over the last couple of years. And you start to think about the rotation and how you are going to mix in all these different pieces. I know it's a good problem to have, but it is also something that you and your staff have to put serious consideration into.
100%. And we're going to be evaluating this team, and not only the best players, who's putting up the best numbers statistically, but who's going to be the best team player and who is going to make those around her better. And it's also really exciting just to be able to use different players in different moments. And I'm a true believer that there's going to be 10, 11, maybe 12 players on this roster that are going to have big moments this year. And we're not going to be afraid to use them, mix things up, and take some risks.
Did have a couple of key departures, obviously Merritt Beeson, especially offensively, and then Lexi Rodriguez, who left after one of the most decorated careers in Nebraska history. I know Olivia Mock, Lainey Choboy both had experience at that position. How do you see that role playing out as you start to get closer and closer to opening night?
We'll see. They're both so talented, and I've just been telling everybody they're both going to see the floor a lot. So whatever role they're in, we're going to need them both.
All this on top of one of the top, if not the top, high school recruiting classes in the country. How quickly do you expect some of those youngsters to be able to maybe infiltrate this lineup that is so deep that it's awfully tough no matter what year you are?
Yeah, well, the freshmen are talented, and I expect some of them to have big roles this season, maybe even as early as August. But I also think with this team, a lot can change throughout the year and in different scenarios, and who can we use to maybe be 1 point, 1 or 2 points better. As John Cook always said, all you got to be is 2 points better. So we'll use all of them, but I could see a starter, serving sub. I mean, all the roles you can possibly think of in the sport of volleyball, as this freshman class could cover it.
You're among a very small group of teams that has either 0 or just 1 transfer portal addition. Allie Check comes over from Baylor. What's her skill set for folks who never got to see her play?
Well, I haven't really seen Allie play much either, so I'm going to be learning a lot about her when we start in a few days. But she's a really powerful hitter. I know she's got great size. I also think she's just a really fun person, and she's just adding to this culture and this team that, wants to really have a great time and have a really successful season.
I know we did mention John once or twice. I'd love to get your thoughts. Obviously, you have so many different layers of your relationship with him as a former player, as an assistant coach, as a friend. What has he meant to you? And try to put into perspective, from your perspective, what he's meant to this sport.
Without John, I think my career, I don't even know if I'd have this career. So, of course, he means a lot to me personally, and just, again, the way our relationship developed throughout the years. There was a lot of low times, but a lot of amazing times where he probably helped us win some games at Louisville, if we're being honest, just from conversations or ideas. So just meant a ton, his mentorship and friendship, and just the sport of, I think about what he's done for the sport of volleyball and always pushing it forward and never giving up. And I think that's one of his greatest traits, is he's not afraid to go out there, and then he's not afraid to keep pushing the envelope over and over again. And I think a lot of coaches can thank him for where we're at today.
Dani, welcome to Big Ten Volleyball Media Days. Congratulations on the new addition in your home. We can't wait to watch your team on the floor this season.
Right. Thank you.
We talked about Harper. We talked about Rebekah. Let's hear some more from those Huskers, Elena and Holly.
Thanks so much, Rick. I'm so excited now to be joined by Rebekah Allick and Harper Murray from Nebraska Volleyball. Welcome to the Big Ten Network studios. This is going to be so much fun. I know you guys have probably already had a lot of fun today. Harper, the TikTok station. Did you get Dani in any of those TikToks?
We haven't gone yet.
Oh, not yet?
No,
okay.
we haven't yet.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
But you're already brainstorming.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. What has been the best part so far today? What have you guys done?
I would say just seeing all the social media and how that stuff works, because I know we see it behind the scenes a little bit, but seeing all the TikToks and seeing the Instagram, and we've been able to answer some fun questions too. It's just been really fun.
Yeah, and also just seeing the other teams, I think I like to poke fun at rivalries, but at the end of the day, it's just people. And so I got to see Katie, the Penn State head coach, and give her a hug, and Indiana's head coach. And to me, it just feels like one big get together.
Rebekah, you've really learned to use your voice as an athlete. What makes that so important to you?
It kind of relates to what I just said about just being people. I feel like, the cameras and the lights, it's all exciting, but I think it's important on how we interact in the community and the other people that we interact with. I think, we all have souls and we got to take care of each other. And so, yeah, I think it's important that I'm looking after my life after all of this.
There's been some really exciting changes in your program in this offseason. We just heard from your new head coach, Dani. How has that transition been so far, having her in the gym and, you know, not having John Cook there anymore, but entering this new era of Husker volleyball?
Yeah, like you guys said, we have a bunch of new people coming in, a lot of freshmen, 2 transfers, 1 international. So it's been a lot about team bonding and culture. John was really big on our team culture and was super adamant on having a strong culture and building relationships, and that's something we always take pride in. So with having a new head coach at a program like Nebraska, we've had to focus on the relationships and things behind the scenes. So spring and summer was for that, but now in a few days we get to focus on the volleyball now.
What kind of energy does Dani bring into your program?
Gosh, just creative energy. I mean, have you guys ever seen like the work environment in Google? It's like, it's very liberative. Like, I just feel like, I don't know, it's not your typical cubicle. It allows for new space. I mean, we had Andy on a D-ball, you know, and it blew up the internet. And I just feel like the kind of energy she brings in the gym is, if this works, let's try it out. If it doesn't, let's try something else. It's very experimental and hands-on.
And I think we're going to see a new serve from you this year?
Potentially. Dani's letting me try it out a little bit. I'll whip it out here and there.
I love it.
We're looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've talked about there are some key players from your program that have now graduated and moved on. How have your roles evolved in the team heading into your senior season, your junior season, with some new pieces on the team and some key pieces that have left?
Yeah.
I feel like me and Becca have talked about it a lot. Merritt and Lexi were 2 great leaders for our program, and we were all able to learn a lot from them. So I think with a new coach, with a lot of new players, we're all trying to find a way that we can incorporate Lexi and Merritt in our ways of leading. It's going to be different no matter who you are, but I know we all took a lot away from them and what they taught us. So I think we're all trying to figure out our own special way and unique way to lead and do it for what's best for the team, because we have so many new people and it's going to be really crucial for us this year. But I think it's been going really well. We have a lot of different people with big voices, and it's going to be fun. Yeah,
I think I've definitely had to step into a softer role. It's kind of hard for me, you know, in a competitive environment. I'm just very much like full bore, and so it's definitely been a lot of conversations on like, okay, how can I cater to this person in this moment? Very much on the quote of, yes, you can go fast alone, but you'll go farther together. And just getting out of my comfort zone and how I like to lead, because again, like every team, you know, every season, John always talked about it, it's going to be entirely different. You know, even just having 2 people join or 2 people leave can completely change the dynamic. And so, yeah, I've definitely had my leadership skills challenged, and it's been a growing process. Yeah.
The last 2 years, you guys had special seasons, so much talent, but fell short in the national semifinals. How much does that motivate you every day, and what can you do in the gym to prepare for that?
I would argue that it haunts me. Yeah, it hurts, man. It burns. Like this has been my life for the last 4 years, and even before that, it's all I dreamt about. Nebraska volleyball, in my opinion, is a very different program. I mean, we play for an entire community. You know, we play for the farmers in the Panhandle and even the big city folks in Lincoln. And so, yeah, you know, you want to put on for your own city as a hometown kid, but it's most important that we live up to it. I think Jalen said that very well in one of our team meetings. Like, let's live up to the hype. You know, kind of tired of talking about let's just get to the Final Four, let's win the national championship. So we've had to change the way we even talk about the future. So, yeah, it keeps me up at night, but in a good way.
I mean, well said. I think it's all about creating your own story. Penn State was able to do it last year, Texas the year before, so I think we can go into this year writing our own and figuring out a way for it to have us in the end.
Yes.
Harper, you've been really open about your journey at Nebraska, just from freshman year to now, and refinding that joy on the volleyball court. How have you grown since that freshman season, and how do you enjoy being able to share that with your fans and supporters?
Yeah, I like to give a lot of that credit to Merritt and Lexi and some of the other girls on the team who were there at the time. But I think the biggest thing I've taken away the past 2 years is how crucial relationships are. And we say it all the time, but our culture is built on unconditional love, and that's exactly what our program does inside and out. So I've been able to grow so much as a person and a player because of the people that I've surrounded myself with. So relationships are just what's most important to me right now, because you get to a point where you realize there's more to life than volleyball. And of course, that's going to be a shiny goal for you at the end, but there's more to it, and there's more things you're going to remember when you're done with it. So I really just try and lean in on the relationships with the people around me.
Harper, it seems like you're really building your brand. Very authentic on TikTok, I follow. But how important is it to share your story and just share a part of you personally?
I'm lucky that I have the platform to do it, because if I weren't at a school like Nebraska, I wouldn't have the platform. So I try to take advantage of it, and I'm very grateful that I have that platform, because not many people do. And I've been able to build it, and a lot of different aspects have played into that. And Nebraska is the main one, because if I didn't have the fan base in Nebraska and the fan base back in Michigan, I wouldn't have it. So I think the more opportunities that come across me, it's just going to help me continue to grow it and use my voice for good.
And Rebekah, you have used your voice for different charities. Can you explain some of those?
Yeah, so I've worked with a couple. The one I'm most active with is I've Got a Name, and it's an anti-sex trafficking organization specifically focused on the city of Lincoln and surrounding areas. Yeah, my mother raised me to defend those that cannot defend themselves, and so I'm doing what I can. I think the overall battle against sex trafficking is really hard to talk about, and that's where the predators thrive. And so bringing such things to the light has given me life. And yeah, I feel like it's also given me purpose. I am very protective of the women in my life, and I want nothing more than for them to feel safe, and especially the young girls in my community. So that's one of them, and the other one is the Nebraska Canine No-Kill Rescue Network. Kind of a different speed, but I fostered a little white dog for about the month, I think it was through June, and ended up getting adopted into a family, a really loving family. Yeah, so just finding little ways to give back. I'm really big on, yes, Nebraska volleyball is incredibly important, but the people that make us relevant are just everyday people. And so it really is the least that I can do is look out for them. Because if they all decide to get a new hobby, we're nobodies. So yeah, just loving back on the people who love us. Yeah.
You just kind of touched on it, but volleyball in Nebraska is something really, really special. I mean, we've seen that over the years. Yeah. What does it mean to you guys, since you made that decision when you were in high school to come put on that Nebraska jersey? What does it mean to you to suit up and represent that culture and tradition at Nebraska?
The sport has grown so much over the past few years. I was just asked recently if I went to volleyball camps growing up, and my answer was no. I went to one volleyball camp every year, and it was at the University of Michigan, but I didn't have players like Jordan Larson and Lexi and Merritt and Justine to look up to when I was younger. And as I've gotten older, I was able to find them. But I think it's an honor that we have the ability to give back to so many little girls. And we work camps throughout the whole summer, and we might get tired, it might get draining, but at the end of the day, we're a part of it. We're part of something bigger than ourselves. And that's kind of what we have to revert back to and be just super grateful, because we have the best fans in the world. And I stand by that. We have great fans and a great team and fan culture.
Yeah. Yeah, just to tag off of that, it's a suit of honor. I feel like John is actually a really big part of that. He was even big about what we post on social media. The thing about the Nebraska team is like that legacy carries on with you forever. I had a call with Brooke Delano, I think it was a year ago, and she talks about, she's still cognizant of what she posts online because it falls back on the program. And so it can be a big responsibility, but it's just a higher calling. And so, yeah, I meant what I said in an interview a while ago, like when you sign with Nebraska, you sign with the whole state. Yeah. So it can feel like a lot, but that's what's nice is with this year we have 17 girls that you get to lean on, and they understand, so you're not in it alone. And on top of that, you have alum, and on top we have an alum as our head coach. And so we have a whole network of people that understands the pressure, and it makes it more bearable, yeah.
I think you did a camp yesterday or a clinic. Did you coach?
Out of system, no.
Yes, out of system, yeah.
How was it?
Awesome. It was so fun. So I did it with John, the Purdue assistant coach, and Chris was there, a couple of the Illinois girls, Ava from Penn State. It was such a blast. We did the worm with Chris. He showed us how to do the worm. I mean, the volleyball community is alive and well. I mean, people are still agile, even in, yeah. So it's been fun. I love working with Out of System. I think their brand is all about like out of the ordinary, right? It's not your typical camp, and this, like, it's very competitive. Honestly, I would argue a lot like how Dani likes to run things. Like you get after it, short bursts, you take a break, and then you're after it again. And so, yeah, it was very fun.
How is it having a strong female role model as your head coach?
She doesn't know this, but like we've talked about it a lot. It's a complete shift going from having a male coach at Nebraska for the past 25 years. And I feel like it's a new era for Nebraska, and we're trying to find a theme for our team this year, and we want to try and relate it back to having a new era and being strong women, but we haven't been able to pinpoint it yet. But I mean, it's been awesome, and I think it's going to be a really good change for us. Like I said earlier, it's a time to write a new story, and Dani's the biggest part of that story.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's power in being a woman, and I think she carries it very well. I mean, she just had her second baby, and she's back in the gym, and she has not missed a beat. And so there's definitely been a shift from having a head male coach, yeah, and now a woman. And I loved it. Honestly, it feels like having my mom in the gym. My mom is one of the strongest women I know, and to meet someone like that and to know that she's looking after all of us means a lot.
Rebekah, you've talked about some of your passions off the volleyball court a little bit. Harper, I'd love to just hear a little bit about what you like to do. Obviously, your brand is big.
Thank
your
you.
TikTok, I follow too. What else do you like to do outside of the volleyball court?
I mean, I said it earlier, but I've had so many cool opportunities to go to places. I was just at the WNBA All-Star Game. I was able to go to the Super Bowl. I love traveling. That's, baseline. I love to travel, but I love being able to travel and meet new people. I'm a very, very social person, but I've just been lucky that I've been able to travel and do so much this summer because it's helped me build my brand, but it's also helped me network and meet so many different people. So I love traveling. I love meeting new people and hanging out with my team.
You guys know your upcoming schedule. Anything you're looking forward to? Any specific matchups or?
Yeah.
I'm really excited for our first game of the season against Pitt. Olivia is one of my closest friends, so I'm just excited to play her because we always play them later in the year. So I'm just excited to see her. Our moms are staying together, and we're going to have a fun weekend. So I'm just excited to see her. And I love playing against my friends because people, on the outside don't realize that, we're friends and we know each other, and we don't all just hate each other all the time and want to lose and beat each other. But I love her, and I can't wait to see her. So I'm just excited, and it's a fun way to kick off the season with a good competition.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Iron sharpens iron. I actually did a camp last year with Sarah Franklin, and it was just fun to poke fun at our rivalry, I think. Like Harper was talking about, a lot of us are actually really good friends, and after college we always joke about the rivalry, like, oh, I can't believe we hate each other and all of this. But yeah, we have a lot of successful, passionate, and competitive women, and so yeah, it gets a little feisty, but it's all love.
Well, Harper, Rebekah, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.